Everyone has heard of Mario. He's one of the most recognizable characters ever, and I think it's safe to say he's had quite a few games over the years. With there being so many releases, there are bound to be some games people forget or just simply aren't talked about as much, which is why I wanted to discuss some Mario games you may have never heard of or go, oh yeah, I remember that game. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Up first is Super Mario Bros. Special for the PC 8801, it's just a PC, along with the Sharp X1 series and Samsung SPC 1500. They're just PCs too. This was released exclusively in Japan and South Korea and was made by Hudson Soft, who made a few other Mario games like Punchball Mario Bros. And Mario Bros. Special. If you didn't figure it out already, this is very similar to the original Super Mario Bros, but seeing as it was on weaker hardware, it looks quite a bit different. The physics and audio were also tweaked slightly, but it does include new original levels, which is pretty cool, I guess. It makes sense this didn't really gain much traction, as this is probably the worst way to play the original Super Mario Bros, and was probably just Nintendo experimenting with allowing other developers to bring their games to other hardware to try and expand its reach. But it's still cool to see Mario on PC, as he very rarely leaves Nintendo hardware, especially nowadays. Mario Clash is a Virtual Boy title that was released in 1995 and was a reimagining of the original Mario Bros. The main appeal behind this was the stereoscopic 3D, as this was technically the first stereoscopic 3D Mario game. I wonder if they'll ever revisit stereoscopic 3D in the future. While this did allow more movement options than the original and was a kind of cool idea, overall it was forgotten about pretty quickly. Cool concept, but it looks like something you play for 5 minutes and never touch again. And let's be honest, this game was largely forgotten, as about 4 people owned the Virtual Boy and the original is just way more convenient to play. Mario Hoops 3-on-3 or Mario Slam Basketball, yeah, I never hear people talk about this game. I fully understand this isn't forgotten about as much as some of the other games on this list, but it deserves to be discussed more, and I've needed to fit some actual decent games into this video. Whenever the topic of Mario sports games come up, it's always tennis, golf, strikers, or bring back baseball. Agreed with that last statement, but bring back Hoops too. It wasn't perfect, some weren't fans of the touchscreen controls or just think it lacked content, which is completely fair, but overall it received positive reviews and I think deserves another entry. This was one of the few Mario games Square Enix actually developed, alongside Mario RPG and Sports Mix. It was originally supposed to be an original Square Enix game, but they felt it would work well with Mario characters, so they reached out to Nintendo, who approved of the idea. With Square being the developer, it also meant some Final Fantasy characters were added too. Cool. Mario is missing from a lot of people's memory because it is awful. Just kidding, it isn't so bad, as Luigi has a starring role. His second starring role actually, if you count Luigi's Hammer Toss. A lot of people just pretend it's Luigi's Mansion though, because that game is actually good. This was meant to be an educational game and was released on the NES, SNES and PC. It's a very simple point and click game where you travel around the world to find treasures to find Mario, who was actually stolen by Bowser for once. Princess Peach is going to get jealous. There were a few other games similar to this, such as Mario's Time Machine and Mario's early years. Not gonna lie, I never heard of that last one until I started doing research for this video. And look, while these games are made fun of all the time, they were purely designed to make learning a bit more fun for kids. I doubt you're picking these up expecting them to match the quality of Mario Odyssey. No, that would be silly. Mario's early years, fun with numbers, is clearly a million times better. Hotel Mario is another Mario game released on non-Nintendo hardware. I'm starting to question where your loyalties lie, buddy. There were 4 Nintendo games released for the Philips CDI, as a deal was struck with Philips which ended up being cancelled anyway, but they still had the licensing to make these disasters. There were 2 other games planned, Super Mario's Wacky World and Mario Takes America. Thankfully though, they were scrapped. Hotel Mario is a puzzle game where you make your way through the Club Koopa Resort to search for Peach, who has been kidnapped by Dr. Eggman. While this is probably the better game out of the 4, I can see why Nintendo is a lot more protective of their IPs nowadays. Mario Teaches Typing is yet another educational game which, you guessed it, teaches you how to play the guitar. You can play as Mario, Luigi, or Peach and have to type out the words on screen as you make your way through a level. This is actually a pretty fun idea and not bad for an educational game, and is again a fun way to teach kids how to type. It sold pretty decently and even had a sequel, which is where this creepy Mario meme originated from. Dance Dance Revolution Mix, developed by Konami, released in 2005 for the GameCube. This is more of a collab with the Dance Dance Revolution series, kind of like Puzzles and Dragons Super Mario Edition is also a collab and not just an original Mario game. There's not much to say about this one. As you guessed, it's just a dancing game and you can dance to lots of different Mario songs, and it also came bundled with the dance pad controller. But to be honest, I feel like this game would have done way better on the Nintendo Wii, as it just fits that audience way more, and I'm sure many Just Dance fans would have loved this game. Wrong system, guys. Photos with Mario. Does this even count as a game? I guess it's just more of an application, but I'll just throw it in here anyway. These were cool little AR cards that released for the 3DS in 2013 in Japan, 2014 for America, and 2015 for Europe. Just say that, you haters. I'm sure everyone remembers these original AR cards that came packaged with the 3DS. Well, these were basically just Mario themed versions that came with its own separate app and were included with different eShop cards. A very cool little bonus you could get, in my opinion. They should do more things like this. There isn't really much to do but just take pictures, and I know it isn't really a game, but I just wanted an excuse to talk about photos of Mario, okay? And photos together with Pikmin. You wasn't expecting that to be name dropped in this video, was you? But there you go. Mario Pinball Land. Nintendo just seemed to have an obsession with pinball games back in the day, but I kinda miss it. This released on the Game Boy Advance and is a bit more of a simpler pinball game where you just mainly take out the enemies on screen, but there's boss battles and coins to collect and everything, and it's obviously Mario themed, which is kinda cool. I always find pinball games just kinda hard and annoying to control. Like half the time I just feel like I'm spamming the ball up and hoping for the best, but I completely appreciate that is likely just a skill issue. Although I really like Metroid Prime Pinball. Unrelated, but this game is really cool. But hey, Nintendo, bring this one to NSO and I'll probably give it a fair shot. And that was some forgotten Mario games, or at least some Mario games people very rarely talk about. Let me know in the comments some more obscure Mario games. I'm sure I've missed some, and make sure to subscribe for more Nintendo content.
Sunrise.